Hello and welcome to this Fotospeed video with me, Tim Jones. Today we are going to be looking at Platinum Etching 285, which is a signature paper from us here at Fotospeed. So it's part of our signature range, and the signature artist on Platinum Etching 285 is the landscape photographer Charlie Waite. So it needs no more endorsement than that this is the paper Charlie Waite uses to print all his pictures on. However, in this video, we're going to be doing a bit of an overview of it, hopefully telling you a little bit more about the paper and showing you some prints on it and showing you that it can pretty much handle quite a lot of different subjects as well, different variations, different color, different black and whites and colors, and also bright colors and subtle colors. And we're also going to be talking about that beautiful texture this paper has. Now, before we dive into any of that, please don't forget, as always, to subscribe to the Fotospeed YouTube channel. Just click that subscribe button below. And also don't forget to sign up to the Fotospeed newsletter. I'll put links and everything in the description below for you to be able to do that, but also you can go on to fotospeed.com and do it. Also, don't forget, if you're new to printing or looking to brush up your skills on printing, don't forget to download The Art of Printing, the free ebook from us here at Fotospeed. So with the housekeeping out of the way, let's talk about Platinum Etching 285 and what an amazing paper it is, because there's quite a lot to talk about, to be honest, with this paper. Now, let me run down the key features of this paper, then we'll talk about them individually and actually what it means when you're printing practically, because it's nice for me to talk about all these lovely key features, but it's also nice for you to at home, hopefully through video, we'll be able to see these features and in action and what it actually means to you when you're going to be printing. Now, I have to say, Platinum Etching is probably one of my favorite papers. It is close to an etching paper. So it has this beautiful kind of feel to it. It's kind of a soft texture. It is in our fine art textured test pack. So it is classified as a textured paper, but it has quite a smooth texture to it. But if it kind of makes sense, the texture is definitely there. So with a picture like this one here, we've got the beautiful kind of color of the pencils here, but in the gray areas at the top, you can actually see that texture coming through. And a little bit like in this butterfly picture here, there's definitely the texture in the background, which adds a little bit to the print, I think. But we'll get onto the prints in a minute and what this texture kind of adds. So Platinum Etching is 285 GSM, or grams per square meter, in weight. So it's quite a heavyweight paper. It's not as heavy as some papers, but it is a substantial paper. It is a fine art paper. It is 100% acid free. It is certified by the Fine Art Trade Guild ArtSure scheme as well. So it's been fully tested in the lab and it passes all their tests. So it is classified as fully archival and a fine art paper. The paper is made of 25% cotton and 75% alpha-cellulose, or wood pulp. So it has a nice soft feel because of that cotton in the paper, but it also has the rigidity as well and is a very hard wearing paper because of the alpha-cellulose in the paper as well. So it's the best of both worlds. So it has a high Dmax for a matte paper as well. So you get a beautiful deep black when printing on here. It is a natural white, so it does contain some OBAs, or optical brightening agents, so it is a little bit off-white, but it's not as yellow, say, or it's not as a warmer paper as, say, a paper that hasn't got any OBAs in, like the platinum cotton. It's suitable to use with dye and or pigment inks. Works beautifully with both. All these prints here were actually printed on the new Canon, the 1100 pigment-based machine. However, I would expect very similar results if you were using, say, the Pro 200 from Canon, or the IP8750, or the Epsons. They would produce exactly the same results. This paper is available in cut sheet and in rolls as well, and also our Fotocard range as well, which make an amazing addition if you're looking for greetings cards or Christmas cards, etc. This paper does come in that as well. So all these features make it a great paper to use for basically any subject. It's always one of the questions we get asked is, okay, we got this paper like platinum etching, what would you use it for? What is it good for? Well, hopefully, by the pictures on the table here, you can see it's kind of good for everything. I would print anything on platinum etching. I mean, we've got, say, like this lovely documentary kind of shot here in black and white. Looks absolutely fantastic. The texture is quite subtle, so it doesn't distract from the subject either, so you can get away with quite a lot. But also when you've got a high detailed subject, a little bit like this cat here, the texture just seems to almost add a little bit more depth to it, but it is very subtle. And we just get that tiny little bit more depth is what texture can do. But what we don't want texture to do is actually overtake the image and be the focus of the print. If somebody says, oh, what a lovely paper that is, then probably you're using the wrong paper, is what I normally say. But platinum etching just has that beautiful, subtle texture that does things beautifully. It suits mid-tone images beautifully as well. So if you've got something that's a little bit more muted, a little bit more like this with the butterfly here, it does suit that subject quite nicely. And also that mid-tone type of color and pastel type of color, just because of the white point of the paper. But saying that, it can handle the blacks and high contrast very well as well. So we've got a few prints here in black and white just to illustrate that black point. It does have that high Dmax, so it does have a really nice punch to it as well. And you can see that in these color images here, these pencils and the swimming pool. It holds the color and it gives this beautiful punch to the image as well. It holds these gray tones as well very, very nicely. Things don't soak into this paper as much, say as like a smooth cotton or something, where you are having to add the contrast. Platinum etching holds this contrast point very nicely. This picture of the Taj Mahal here, it's got this beautiful black point down the bottom here, but it's also held all the detail and color as it goes through perfectly. And I think the textures of these papers and the feel of this paper works particularly well. If you've got a lot of fur and detail in the print, then I think that this is where platinum etching really kind of comes out on its own. I really like it for wildlife pictures. I mean, it works perfectly for landscape work. Probably the two subjects I really like it for. Personally, I mean, it will do absolutely everything, as you can probably see on the table here. We've got a little bit of ICM over in the corner here. We've got some black and white documentary. We've got some architecture. We've got some nature photography. We've got a bit of everything here, but the two subjects I think it works particularly well on is landscape photography. Works beautifully for that, but also wildlife photography as well. However, like I said, it will pretty much do anything. I mean, you can do portraits on it, weddings, things like that. Just be careful with the texture. It is slight, but it could, if you spent a lot of time, say, smoothing skin and things like that, just beware there will be a bit of texture in there. I'm not saying it will look bad, but it could be something just to bear in mind. It's not a heavy texture, but it works beautifully with, say, weddings and getting ready shots and wedding dresses and things like that. Something with detailing works absolutely beautifully. Like I said, this happens to be one of my favorite papers I'm talking about today, so I am gonna sell its praises a little bit, but hopefully that's given you a bit of an overview on what the paper can do. We've looked at some prints as well, and you can see it's just a great paper to have on the shelf as well. Like I said, it's fully archival, it's fine art, it's been tested, it's part of ArtSure, and it's probably a go-to paper for many, many artists and many, many photographers out there as well. So for landscape photographers out there, obviously this is Charlie Waite's signature paper as well. So it is well worth having a look at. If you wanted to test this paper, it comes in our fine art textured test pack as well. So that is well worth looking at. So I hope that has kind of given you an overview on the paper and given you an idea of what it can do. To say it can produce bright colors, deep blacks, beautiful for anything particular, but particularly wildlife and landscape photography. So on that note, I'll end there. Don't forget to subscribe to the Fotospeed YouTube channel. Just click that subscribe button below. I'll put links and everything as well to so you can be able to sign up to the Fotospeed newsletter and also download the free ebook on everything to do with printing called The Art of Printing from us here at Fotospeed. Just click the link in the description as well. For US viewers, do not forget our paper is now available direct from the US from Midwest Photo. I will also put a link in the description below for you. Also that we release new videos every week here on the Fotospeed YouTube channel, so click that bell icon just to get notifications of when a new video is released. So on that note, I hope I've inspired you to go out and try some platinum etching and print absolutely anything on it and see how wonderful this paper is and how amazing it feels in your hand as well. So on that note, I will see you next time. Bye-bye.